Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Reasonably nice day over here in New York. As always, I am your host, Joey Cips with Business Talk Radio. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Right now, as we begin our work week, very excited to bring in our next guest. This gentleman is the founding director at Reflective Mediation. He's from the Toronto, Ontario, Canada area, everybody. It's my pleasure to welcome to the show Mike McConnell. Good afternoon, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thanks very much for having me on, Joey. Appreciate it.
Of course. The pleasure's all ours here at Business Talk Radio. So let's dive right in, Mike. We got a couple minutes here, and I would love to learn all about you in that amount of time, along with our listeners as well. So let's dive in, Mike. Tell me a little about yourself and what you do over there at Reflective Mediation.
Well, I am a conflict mediator and communication coach. I got into this business when my marriage and my business partnership both broke down around 2010, 2011. And that kind of woke me up that, just being a nice guy and trying to smile through conflict didn't actually resolve anything. So I went back to school. In my divorce, figured things out to a certain extent, wrote a book called The Yoga of Divorce.
Wow.
About calming yourself down so that you can actually approach the issue with some presence of mind. Went back to school, got certified as a family mediator and a general mediator, but most of the work I do is with families, particularly with couples who are experiencing difficulties in their marital relationships or with their kids or their parents.
Absolutely. That was going to be my next question to you. Obviously, it seems like your practice is more adult-oriented, but if they did have children, do you also involve the children as well?
Yes. In my prior incarnation, my first career, I was a school teacher, and school administrator. So
okay.
my original work world is definitely with kids, and so I feel very comfortable working with them. And with each party in a conflict, the strategy that I use is to try to really understand what it is that matters to each person and help them to understand one another. I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but I do give advice on how to communicate. But the solutions are entirely created by the people who are the specialists in the problem, and that's the folks in the having the issue.
Absolutely. So basically, there is no cookie-cutter approach to doing what you do because everybody and every relationship, they have their own issues and set of things going on. So you customize that and, use your expertise to cater to whatever those issues are at the moment for those specific couples and or people, correct?
Well, yeah, I might switch that up a little bit, Joey,
sure.
and say that there's a bit of a cookie cutter in how we approach it. In other words, how to communicate, how to listen to one another. But when it comes to the actual resolution, what terms they arrive at, that is absolutely unique to the needs, the interests, the goals of the various parties.
I think that was brilliantly stated, Mike. Thank you for that. Now, let me ask you a two-part question here, okay? And then I'm going to give you the floor so you can let all of our listeners know who would like to get in touch with you for more info, how to do just that. But a quick two-part question for you, Mike. My first is, when you do see clients, whether it's a first time or reoccurring, how long do your sessions usually run for? And being that we're living in this COVID-19 era right now, do you use any online platforms like Skype, Zoom, FaceTime, things like that, just in case someone wanted to use your services but couldn't do it face-to-face? Do you use, such online platforms like that? I'll give it to you.
Yes, absolutely. Since COVID, I've been doing almost entirely remote work, and Zoom is the platform I use, and it works really well because people don't have to leave home. I can have them in separate breakout rooms if I need to talk privately to each one of them. That really tends to work very, very well. And so in terms of the sessions, I find that between an hour and 2 hours is typical. In fact, if people want to know more, I have my next blog coming out this Wednesday, talks about what happens when you call, what's going to go on in that initial conversation, which I think of as the sales call, where we're trying to determine, do we feel comfortable working with one another? Do your issues and needs fit with my skill set? But once we've decided to work together, then, and we're in the joint sessions, between 1 to 2 hours. I know mediators that'll do 5 and 6 hour sessions. And,
Wow.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. They're trying to race through it all at once, and everybody's got their own style. But I try to move at a pace that really allows people to be at their best self. And if it's less than 1 hour, it's hard to get a lot accomplished. But once we get to more than 2 hours, I find that the quality of the conversation, of the solutions that are being reached, it depends on of course on each case. But I'd say that's roughly the case. As far as how long the whole, if it's a separation, for example, there are a lot of boxes to be ticked off. And how many sessions it takes is partly dependent upon how complicated, particularly the financials might be. But more than that, it's how willing are they to put the past behind them and actually work towards a future that is different. And if people are sincerely committed to moving forward in their lives for the best interest of the child, and not trying to determine who was right or who was wrong, but simply what do we need moving forward that's going to help us be our best selves, the best parents we can be, then it can be done fairly quickly. It can be done in 3 or 4 sessions.
That's fantastic information, Mike. Thank you so much. And again, I love how much knowledge and passion you have behind doing what you do. Unfortunately, we're coming down to the end of our broadcast, but please, for the last minute or so that we have, please get all of your information out there that you would like our listeners to know on how they can get in touch with you if they would like to use your services.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Joey. I was hoping you would ask that.
Of course. That's why we're here, my friend.
Well, and now that things are remote, I have clients hundreds of miles away. We do get to see one another, even though we're not in the same room. Mike at reflectivemediation.ca, because it's Canada, it's .ca. That's the direct email to me. But I encourage people to check out the website.
Yeah.
And that's reflectivemediation.ca or .com. And either one of those, there's a lot of information on the website and the various blogs. As I mentioned, the blog coming up this week is on, what that first conversation would look like. And last month's blog was why it is that the men are the last ones to see it coming. It's usually the women that are the ones that contact me and say, we need some help communicating. And of course, ultimately, I will be talking with all the parties, and if people are interested, there's lots of information there online for them. And I want to thank you once again, Joey, for you're asking great questions and helping me to get a positive message out there, folks. It can get better. COVID has confined a lot of people to very restricted living situations, and that creates tension. Don't demonize yourself, but don't demonize the other person. There are ways that this can be better, and if you address it and deal with it, it is actually better at the end than it was in my divorce. I got along better. I still get along better with my ex now remarried, happy to say, but and now know how to communicate. But the process can actually be very healing and rewarding. That doesn't mean it's easy.
That's great information, Mike, and thank you so much for letting our listeners in on that. Again, everybody, from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. However, he could be everywhere via online platforms. He could see you. He could help you. All you simply need to do is reach out to him. And again, that website, everybody, is www.reflectivemediation.ca. And reflective mediation is all spelt as it is. So no word puns there. Again, www.reflectivemediation.ca. And the wonderful Mike McConnell.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah.
Watch that your spell check doesn't automatically change mediation to the word meditation.
Good one.
Meditation. So some of the automatic systems will autocorrect. It is mediation. So sorry to interrupt there.
No, you're okay. Listen, we don't want to be meditating in his office. He's trying to help you. All right.
Well, actually, I do that too. It's just you don't need to pay me to do that.
Oh, well, that's good to know. All right.
My book, The Yoga of Divorce, has a whole section on how to do it, but you can read that yourself on your own time.
There you go.
You don't need to pay me on an hourly basis to walk you through it.
There you go. And as we finalize everything, if you'd like to check that book out, go check it out as well, everybody. And again, Mike McConnell, it was a pleasure hosting you, and thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you again, Joey. I appreciate it.
Oh, the pleasure's all ours here at Business Talk Radio, Mike. And to everybody else, you guys stick around. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back after a quick commercial break.